Hey everybody, welcome back. You ever have one of those days where no matter what you try and do, it seems like life just wants to throw up one obstacle after the next in front of you? And by the time you get to the end of the day, you realize you've been busting your ass and really don't have that much done. Well, I was working on my old Jeep the other day. If you watched my previous video, I'll put a link in the cards above. I pulled the dashboard completely out of it because it had a whole bunch of holes in it that I didn't want to be there. And for those of you unfamiliar with the CJ7, the dashboard is just a chunk of sheet metal with a bunch of holes punched in it. And I, over the years, had punched a lot of extra holes in it for things that aren't even there anymore. And I want to weld it all up and try and make it look clean again. So I got my welder out, I got the dashboard out, I got it cleaned up, I got my welder out, I slapped my welding hood on my head, and yes, it's a $40 Harbor Freight welding hood. Had it a few years. The thing about it is though, it works really well. Its response time is really good, the darkness of settings work, everything seems to work on it really well. I slapped it on my head and cranked down the band to make it tight, and it stripped the gear out of the inside. And I took it apart and parts went flying. I think I got them all back. But yeah, you know, I could drive down to Harbor Freight and blow 40 bucks or 50 or whatever they are now and get another one. I might even be able to get on Amazon and buy a better quality headband. And I actually got on Amazon and looked, but there's so many different ones and they all have an application, and none of the applications say cheap ass Harbor Freight welding hood. So I don't know whether they'd fit or not. So the failed item is, I don't know if you can see it, is this little bitty gear. This little bitty part with a gear, well, I should say what used to be a gear right on that end and now is just a stub where all the teeth broke off it. So you know what? I have more than one 3D printer. I have Fusion 360. Let's see if we can fix this cheap-ass Harbor Freight hood. And you know what? We'll get a video out of it if nothing else, and maybe a laugh or two. Let's go inside. We'll go to Fusion 360. I've already thrown something together. I haven't printed one yet. We'll print one together and we'll see what works. Be right back.
Okay, so here is the part in question. It actually only took about 15 minutes to make, even though I goofed around with the spur gear script in Fusion 360 probably for an hour before I gave up because it just wasn't going to do, or I wasn't able to make it do what I wanted it to do. So I know Fusion 360 tutorials aren't that popular, but I think maybe some of you might like just to quickly see how I did this. So let's go back in the history. We'll go back to the original script. Excuse me, not script, the original sketch, and all I did was sketch out a rectangle. Oh, and before I began any of this, I went in to change parameters, and I added in all of the parameters for the sizes I thought. I added one or two along the way, but nonetheless, I put most of them in before I even began. So I made that square shank. Then I used E to extrude, and I extruded it up. Then I made another sketch, and that sketch has that round disc on it, and it was just a center circle on top of the square shank, and then I extruded it up and wound up with that. Now the next thing was the gear, and it's a little bit, wasn't hard or anything, but let's take a look at that sketch. I sketched this on top of the disc. So I've got three circles in here. The middle circle is the size of the hole down the center. This next circle gives me some wall thickness for the teeth to attach to. And basically I'm making it 1 millimeter just because I don't really know what it ought to be. Then this outer line, dotted line, is a construction line, and that's how far my teeth are coming out, and that's just there as a guide to me. Then I just eyeballed the tooth. This is a conic curve. Under you go to create and conic curve. You pick a point here, and then you drag it up to where you want it. And I wanted a conic curve because I didn't really want a pointed tooth because, you know, the point will break off, so I kind of want a rounded tooth. I did it a couple times till I got something that I liked the look of, that kind of I felt replicated whatever the original one hopefully would have looked like. Let's finish this sketch. Then I extruded up that till I had the inner wall with the single tooth. Then I went to a circular pattern And oops, I went to a circular pattern, and I told it I wanted 8 of those in total, and it made it for me. I had to tell it that my pattern was going to be on the z-axis. That's very easy to do. Then told it I wanted 8 total, and I wound up with this. And then I cut the center hole down, and there you have it. That's all this was. And so let's print one out. I have some black PETG in there because I had made a cap for a vent hole in our kitchen that we're not using anymore, that's inside one of the cabinets that crap off the roof has fallen down through. So I've got black PETG in there. Let's make this thing and let's see if we can put it back together and how close I got when I took my measurements. Be right back.
Okay, so I got the part off the printer. Here it is. And I'm hoping you're going to be able to see it. Of course, it's black and it's hard to see. But this is what it looks like. It's just in shadow. If I can turn it around the other way so you can see it. That's a little better, huh? This is what it looks like. It matches the original, or what I can tell the original looked like, pretty closely. The only thing I've done since taking it off the printer was I took the support off, because there was printed in like this side down. And so I had support under here, so I took that off. I filed a little bit on this. I test fitted it in this part to make sure it would go in like that. And I also ran a drill bit down the center of it to make sure the hole was large enough to go over the stud. So let's try and put the thing together. I have test fitted it, but I have not completely put it together yet. But let's see if we can do it. You can't see it, but I have jammed an old white comforter back in behind here, so hopefully nothing can go off the edge of the bench. Behind the bench, because you know it would, and then I'd wind up losing something and have to either design another part or print one. So let's see if we can get this together. Now, the way this works, both of these pieces go over this center stud, and they both have a, let's see if, there we go. Let me speed this up. Okay, so that goes like that. And this pretty much, the gear, I know it's all black and you can't see it, the gear goes over that center stud and sits down in, and it should go down in because there's teeth in the top of the top band, and the top of the top band and the bottom of the lower band, so that when you turn the gear, it moves both bands in and out at once. So I'm going to try and get those teeth engaged. There we go. You can see it. But when I turn it, it does turn. I may have a, you know what? I may have a version 1 part here that works. I just want to make sure that I get the band even, and I do have it even. So let me put that back. Now it moved on me. Because you want it about, since the bands move in and out evenly, you want it as centered as you can get it. Can't get it in there with my thumb there. Okay, got it. I'm going to go with that. Then this part goes on right next. Or does the spring go next? I think the spring goes next. I think. And then this part goes. And this part goes like that. And it goes over the square. Then this little part goes in, and you need something to turn it once it's pressed down. See if I can do it with my fingers. Okay, let me grab something to turn that with. Be right back. Okay, so I have a snap ring tool. Let's see if I can use the snap ring tool to push that down and turn it. Because that's what locks. So there we go. That was easy. All right, so that locks the whole thing in place. So let's see if it works. I got something on wrong because that's not, the spring doesn't go below. Okay, I did it wrong. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. We'll take it back apart. The spring, I put the spring in the wrong place and that fell out. That had to go in too. Oh, I really did this all wrong, didn't I? I didn't lose that little round piece, did I? Oh dear. Nope, it's in there. I see it. Okay, all right, I see it. I'm okay. I'm okay. All right, so this piece has to go in first, doesn't it? It does, because that's what locks it in place when you let go. So that goes in, I see. That goes in below here. Oh man, I've got this all wrong, don't I? All right, let's see if I can figure this out. That has to go in like that, I think. Yeah, that goes in. Ah, yeah, it snaps on too. I'm probably going to speed this up. Okay, well that wasn't too painful. I appear to have it about in the center. It's locked in there. When we push it in, it should move it, and it does. And then it should lock, and it does. Is it moving both sides? It is. I don't have it 100% perfectly centered, but it's good enough for a test. You see it's slightly off to one side. Let's see if it fits my big head with it open all the way, because I got a pretty damn big head. Oh yeah, way big enough. So I'm going to flip the camera. Let's clamp it on my head and flip it up and down a few times, and we'll see if it works. Okay, there it is. Let's give it a shot. Turn it in, tighten it. This is the moment. Will it strip when I tighten it enough? No, it didn't. Needs to be cleaned and lubed a little bit. It doesn't flip up and down as easy as it should. Let's take it on and off a few times. Okay, well, I mean, that worked. Maybe now I'll even clean it and make it flip right, because actually it's not a bad helmet. So there you have it, 3D printed part to fix your Harbor Freight welding hood. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up and get it adjusted now that it works right again, because I got something else I got to weld like later today or tomorrow. In fact, I've got 2 projects that need welding by the weekend, before the weekend's over anyway. So I'll get that done. Please like and subscribe, hit notifications, and use my affiliate links if you would. And there might not even be any in this video, but there might be too. But just generally, if you'd use them, I'd appreciate it. And I will catch you guys the next time. Bye for now.